Have you guys been looking for a shortcut to finally just find a way to be raid day one prepared without being the need to sweat this game till 2 in the morning trying to find the best way to get XP? It can feel overwhelming, and we know the grind is brutal. So this video will be specialized into giving you guys a little bit of a shortcut to find a way to farm if you're AFK for a while, so you guys can come back with a whole bunch of loot, be raid day one prepared, trying to get the artifact mods, as we know those will be insanely powerful for the Lightfall day one raid, and pretty much just shortcut the grind. So in this video we're going to do just that. Subscribe, like, join the Discord, as that would mean a lot. But let's get right into the video. Now, if you watch some of the AFK farms from last season, you know that it consisted of you going to, after the War Priest encounter, going through the maze to all these pathways and figuring out where to the thrall spawn, then throwing a grade, and then setting up a macro, then doing all that. Now, that can be a bit, of course, challenging, and let's just say, finding a checkpoint after the War Priest encounter every week, that is really hard, really, I mean it. Who wants to play Kingsfall in Lightfall? So, let's just get into a much more easier way, as I found one of the better, easier ways, and I will be showcasing it to all of you guys in this video. Now, what I recommend for you guys to use is a solar subclass. Now, I will be playing as a Titan, and as you see, I will be using a solar weapon, Tiko's Divination from Season of the Chosen, which you can easily pick up from the exotic kiosk. Now, what are the fragments? What are the aspects I'm using? Now, I'll be using Hammer of Soul, of course, obviously. I'll be using Fusion Grenade. I'll be using the Flying Hammer, the Throwing Hammer, the Milmir. If you know Thor references, I will be using it. I'll be also using the Flaming Rock aspect and the Toss Coin Hammer Coin aspect. So please be sure to, of course, look at all those, as I definitely recommend them if you're using a Titan class. Now, for the fragments, a lot of those fragments that literally help your grenade stat. That's literally all I'm going to say. You can, of course, look below as I'm going to show you some of the aspects I'm using, but you really want to focus on your discipline. Your discipline is going to be key for this farm, and that's what I want all of you to be on in this video. Just put your mind in what I'm thinking. Discipline. Redrix wants discipline. I need discipline. Just remember those quotes. Remember those words. Hell, let's just put it on the screen. But just be sure to have discipline, as we'll be using our grenade ability a lot for this AFK farm, and you'll be a scorching target, so you might want to increase the duration of it as you kill enemies, and it helps with the macro of course, killing more enemies, hence the AFK farm. So be sure to also have your solar and whatever your subclass really is all set up. Now, if you want to use wall mods, you can of course use it for your armor. I did for some of them, but it's up to you really. Again, I want you guys to think about when you do these AFK farms is what you actually like. I don't want you to point to that person's direction of what they do in the video. Find something that you like, but use what I'm teaching you in the video. Also use a ghost mod that increases your XP gains by 12%, as we'll be trying to maximize all the XP you're getting from this farm in this video. So please, again, be sure to have your ghost mod, your abilities, all that set up, and your solar weapon that you're going to use in your energy slot. That's all stuff that you need to have before you start this farm. So all you have to do, though, other than getting your build set up, is one other thing. Get a buddy for 1 minute. If you had that friend that still owes you from you getting them something from 7-Eleven and 2 in the morning, call him. Get him online. We need him for 1 minute. I know he's online. He's probably playing Genshin Impact. Just get him online. We're just going to need him for 1 second. And what I'm really going to start out with this is that you're going to need him for the beginning encounter of King's Fall. Now, just load up the King's Fall with your buddy, and of course, I know they might be, eating dinner, and it's going to take hours for them to get online. Still watch the video so you know when they get online. So you want to load up to the first encounter of Kingsfall. You want to do the first relic part. As you know, when you start the first little encounter, if you really want to call it that, you're going to have to dunk all the 6 relics into the 6 statues. But the farm only needs you to do it with 1 statue. So you're going to get your friend, you're going to get the relic at the beginning. You can drop it and shoot the black gate or whatever at the very beginning, the taken gate real quick, get the relic and dunk it into the statue. That's all you have to do for the first part. And then your friend can go back to sleeping still, and you can just finally get the XP farm in action. So what you're going to do is that you're going to go all the way to your right, and you're going to go all the way forward to if you were going to use the last relic, phase. Like pretend you were going to go and use the last relic to finally get the last statue. Go all the way to that hive area and go all the way to the very left top of it. And you're going to see this gate where 3 to 4 to 5, even 5, which will be pretty crazy, acolytes that are going to spawn. What you're going to do is that you're going to go on top of that and you're going to set up a macro in that direction, and that's literally where the farm is. Now, how do you do the farm? I want all of you to install Tiny Task, which is something that you don't need to be crazy about. You still have storage on your PC. Do not be worried about it. You're going to need Tiny Task to start up the macro. Now, when you have Tiny Task installed, what you're going to do is that we need to have a recording be set up of what you're doing, and then we need to find out a button where we have to figure out how to lap that recording so you're able to loop that, of course, attack that you're doing to the enemy consistently. Hence, that's how the farm is created. So what I did is that I used Tiny Tasks and I went to the preferences icon, which is on the very right, and I clicked on what the 2 buttons I want to adjust. So for the playback, I changed it to F12, and for the start of the loop, I changed it to F8. Those are easy buttons, but there's also like a whole other button that you can change it to, like Control Shift and all that, but that will be a little bit difficult as I can't click any of my buttons on my keyboard. So I made it a bit easier for me. So what I needed to do is figure out the best way how to shoot the acolytes, throw the grenade, then I would start the recording before I would do any of that, then end it, and then loop it. I know that's a bit confusing, but once you see it in action, you'll be a bit more, I feel like, understanding of what I'm saying. So what I did is I pressed F8 when I got to the acolytes, and be aware that the acolytes might jump off the area and go all the way to the back of the hive area. Just shoot them, and they're going to be kind of coming back to it pretty fast, so you want to get into a good position before you start the recording. So once you have a good place and you see the acolytes coming, what you're going to do is that you're going to use your solar weapon, and you might want to throw a grenade. What happens is that your restoration effect will kick in, and it will show that if enemies come to you, or if you throw a hammer or something, they're going to, of course, disintegrate because of your solar abilities. Hence why you can't basically die and you're still killing enemies. So then you're going to have to loop that effect. So you're going to use F8 or whatever button you're using to start the macro. Then after a couple of shots or throwing a grenade, you end it with clicking that same button, and then you press the button to loop that playback, which is what I did with F12. After I did that, I was able to consistently hold a loop of throwing a grenade, shooting an enemy, and consistently doing that back and forth until I got a good amount of time of me actually shooting them consistently, and there you go, that's how the macro is set up. Now, will it take time to adjust, and will you probably need to find the best spot and the best way how to do it? Yes, it's going to take practice. This was my third time doing really an AFK farm, and I didn't get it right on my first time. So you're going to have to really look at what you're doing and really understand how to shoot the enemies and, of course, throw the grenade and be able to consistently do so for a good amount of time if you're going to sleep or if you're going to Chick-fil-A. So just be on fact with that. Now, as soon as you are able to do that and you find a good spot and you're throwing grenades and you're shooting bows or whatever you're doing, then there you go, that is your macro. Be aware that recoil weapons like SMGs can really just go up into the air and you're not shooting any enemies, and then that's just a whole roller coaster. So be sure not to do any of that. use a weapon that has no recoil so you're able to consistently shoot at enemies and not have any trouble. But yeah, that is the AFK farm. I hope you guys did enjoy. This should help you get more XP on day 1, and if you were going to bed for the first week, second week before the day 1 raid, you'll be sure to get all the XP you need to help you get more of the artifact mods for the raid. I hope this video did help, and if you need people to help you with this AFK farm, please be sure to join the Redrix Discord, subscribe, and like this video, as it will help us in the YouTube algorithm. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.